Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming, so you me on Twitter the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Tennis Ace, Case Path. So y'all, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Please sit back and enjoy as I entertain you. Let's jump right in. Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Alright, I idly flipped through the pages of my textbook, not really focusing on anything in particular. I decided to study a little bit before midterms started tomorrow, but so far I've made very little progress. I already know most of this stuff, but I thought getting a refresher couldn't hurt. To be perfectly honest, I'm just trying to emulate Keikun a little bit. I sort of envy his diligent attitude towards everything. It reminds me how I used to be that way when I was a kid. I was able to force myself to sit down and get things done even though I hated doing it more than anything. What happened to all that discipline I used to have? Huh, what a surprise. I can't believe you're actually studying. Aki comes down the stairs, looking over my shoulder at my textbook and notes. To be honest, neither can I. Whoa, you actually agreed with me? Do you have a fever or something? That's kind of harsh. You're being surprisingly agreeable today. What's up? I'm trying to be a little more like Keikun. Like Keisuke-san? How so? Well, I just kind of admire and envy his straightforward attitude. No matter what it is, he has that sort of, oh, if I'm going to do it, I'll do my best at it attitude that I seem to lack. Is that so? Hey, Aniki, you've been spending a lot of time with Keisuke-san lately, haven't you? I guess so. It kind of looks like you've been watching him a lot more carefully if you've managed to notice that much. Huh? What do you mean? Well, you've known Keisuke-san for a little over a year, but until now I'd barely hear you talking about him, and I don't remember him ever coming over on his own. Now all of a sudden you've been going to visit him, he's been showing up here a lot more, and you talk about him quite a bit, too. I do? Yeah, it kind of makes me happy. Why would that make you happy? I mean, you just said it yourself, right? You're trying to be more like Keisuke-san. Ever since your last year of middle school, you've started acting like you just don't care about things anymore. I was a little worried. I mean, you used to be really focused and straightforward, too. How could I not worry? Do you really think that? Yeah. Ah, great. Now I'm making my little brother worry about me. And I think you might be rubbing off on Keisuke-san, too, now that I think about it. Me? Rubbing off on that guy? No way. Sure you are. I might not be hanging out with guys all that much, but he's really different from how he used to act a few months ago. I mean, he smiles a lot more, and he's not as rough around the edges. The last time he came over while I was home, he was even clinging to you. That was just because of the storm. It's not like it had some kind of deep meaning. You say that, but... nothing. Just thinking out loud. You're just gonna leave me hanging after saying this much? Sounds about right. Yeah. Sometimes you really scare me with how mature you are for your age. This is just a thought, but maybe you should have Keisuke-san come over. You two could study together. Who knows, maybe his diligence might be contagious after all. I can't just call him out of nowhere and ask him to come over. He has other things to do with his time. It won't hurt to try. It's pretty obvious you're no longer used to studying, so you might need all the help you can get. Especially since you left it for the day before your midterms. What do you mean it's pretty obvious I'm not used to studying? I can see your notes from here. They're a mess. You've crossed out a bunch of your text, and I can see a lot of unfinished sentences. Well, that doesn't mean anything. My mind was just wandering. This isn't the best I can do. No offense, but if your mind is going to be wandering while you're studying, isn't that all the more reason to have someone come over that can help you focus? I hate that he has a point. I hate having to spend a Sunday studying. This is your fault for not studying before today. I did study, a little bit, not that much though, enough to maintain my current grades at least. You're lucky you're a quick study. If it weren't for what you'd be borderline flunking out of school by now. I'm well aware. Just to make sure you don't bother Keisuke-san too much, it's unseemly to be having to it's unseemly to be having to depend on a junior to get your grades up. You're the one who just told me to call him over. Make up your damn mind. It's okay to ask for a little help, but you shouldn't abuse it. You know, I'm not the kind of abuse other people. You know, I'm not the kind to abuse other people's kindness. It's never too late to start. You know, it's sad that you have so little faith in me. That's just your imagination. I believe in you lots. Uh-huh. Anyway, I'm heading out. Already? You only just got home this morning. I know, but I want to hit the club for a bit. Maybe look for a practice partner? Oh, so that's why you've got your tennis gear with you. Of course, what else would I be going to be doing with it? Cosplay? Talk to me like that. Anyway, I'll be back in a few hours. Good luck with your studies. Try not to bother Keisuke-san too much, okay? Somehow I don't even feel like I'm the older brother anymore. Although he does have a point. I guess it couldn't hurt to check in on Keikun and see what he's been up to. God knows I'm going to need help if I want to improve my grades. Sending a message feels too impersonal when I'm asking him to drop whatever he's doing and come over. I'll try calling him instead. Hello, Shuichi. The call connects, and suddenly I hear Keisuke's voice on the other side. Hey there, sorry to call all of a sudden. Are you busy? I'm afraid so. I don't really have time to talk right now. Oh, sorry to bother you, I didn't know. It's alright. You just said it yourself, you didn't know. Now, is there anything you wanted? Ha, it's nothing big. I just wanted to know if you could come over. Maybe we could study together a bit. Midterms are tomorrow and all. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm currently tied down with some other stuff I need to do. I can't really leave the estate right now. Did something happen? I'll tell you about it sometime later. I'm sorry, but I'll need to end the call right now. Alright, I hope everything's okay. I'll talk to you later. Well, that sucked. I wonder what's going on. His voice seemed really serious. Now I'm going to have even a harder time concentrating than I was before. Thanks for the genius idea, Aki. Maybe I should try calling someone else. I think Shuichi might be studying today. Sai doesn't really believe in studying the day before tests, so she's probably relaxing. But Shuichi rarely ever even takes a break. Yeah, I'll try talking to him. I quickly select his number from my contacts list and listen to the dial tone, waiting for him to pick it up. Huh? Went straight to voicemail. Right. He has a habit of turning his phone off when he's studying. Of all the annoying habits to have, what if this were an emergency? I don't have the number for his landline either. I guess I'll try to drop by. What's the harm in that? I'll just gather up my things before I go so we can already study there. Hopefully Takahiko-san won't be too annoyed that I showed up without warning. There aren't many people around the streets at this time of day. The area is already pretty quiet most of the time, and without people coming and going from work or school, it's pretty much a ghost town. Good thing Shuichi doesn't live all that far from me. Not as close by as his previous place, but still close enough. Takes me about 20 minutes to get there. A knock on his door, waiting for a few seconds for a response. Oh yeah, it's a sourpuss. I immediately see the figure of an older husky. Takahiko-san regards me with a raised eyebrow for a second. Shuichi, what a surprise. Hi there, good afternoon. Sorry to drop by unannounced. I wanted to talk to Shuichi, but he's not answering his phone. He's in his room studying. He doesn't have time to be playing around with his phone. Right, that's what I was imagining. I was hoping he and I could study together. I even brought my textbooks and notes and whatnot. His eyes widen ever so slightly, and Takahiko-san stares at me with stunned silence. He holds a finger to his chin, lost in thought for a few seconds. You did get him to improve his grades quite a bit when you two were younger. I suppose it might work again. Yeah, sure. You still want Shuichi's grades to improve? They're already really high. Isn't that a little bit greedy? Alright, come on in. You know where his room is. Takahiko-san sits back on the sofa, pulling out a laptop that was on the coffee table and typing away on it. It's like, as soon as he let me in, he completely ignored my existence. I can't tell if it's rude or impressive. He could have at least wished me a good afternoon, too. I knock on the door, but after a few seconds I hear no response. I try knocking again, this time a little louder, but still get nothing. Is he asleep or something? There's no way. Oh, I carefully open the door, peeking in to see what he's up to. I see Shuichi sitting on his desk, earbuds plugged into his computer and writing something down on his notebook. He's definitely studying. Maybe he has music on and that's why he didn't hear me. Shuichi? I speak a little louder than I normally would. His ears twitch ever so slightly and he pulls off one of his earbuds, turning his head around. What, do you need any... Huh? Shuichi? Hey there, sorry for the intrusion. I tried knocking on the door, but you didn't answer, so I let myself in. What are you doing here? I was kinda hoping we could study together. I figured you'd still be at it, and I kinda needed a presence that helped me stay focused. Study? Wow, I totally didn't see that coming. No wonder Dad lets you in. What? Why? Do you think he would have turned me away if he thought I would distract you? I 100% do, yeah. Oh, I didn't think he'd actually be right. Now I feel kinda insulted. Anyway, what are you studying right now? Before we start, though, I have a question. What is it? How come you just decided to study all of a sudden? That's so unlike you. Why does everyone keep asking me that? Everyone? Aki asked me the same thing earlier today. He acted like it was a big deal when he walked in and saw me studying. Well, considering how much you tease him for being a responsible student, do you really think he'd let pass the opportunity to fire back? Still, it's not like I'm some kind of delinquent or problem child. I also study. Yeah, at 5-minute increments and only on superficial levels. Other than that, you're perfectly happy letting yourself be carried by just watching class. I'm sorry, Oh, there we go. Okay. What do I feel like I'm getting talked down to here? Oh, please. Isn't that why you stopped studying with me in the first place? You hate having to put in the effort. Which brings me back to my earlier question. How come? Well, I just thought it would be easier to concentrate if I had someone around who didn't let me slack off. Oh, I won't. Trust me on that. By the time I'm done with you, you'll be reciting pi to the 40th decimal. That's good, and also mildly concerning, especially considering how that's not even part of our coursework. Shh! Don't fight it, just let it happen. Okay, now you're just being plain creepy. I came here to study, not to be made fun of. If I wanted that, I'd have stayed home. But seriously, what changed? Oh my god, you're such a broken record. Can we move forward, please? Fine, fine. Forgive me for wanting a bit of levity. So, what are we going to be studying? I was going over social studies since that's going to be tomorrow's test. Yeah, that's probably smart. Currently looking at philosophy. Was reading the chapter on Plato and the theory of forms. Ugh, philosophy is so boring. Already? I literally only read the chapter named to you. I already regret this decision. A few hours later. And with that, we finished the ancient Greece portion of our philosophy textbook. Thank God! You know there's a certain irony to be had by exclaiming that while studying Greek philosophers. All I know is I'm glad these people died when they did, otherwise this chapter might have been twice as long. Jesus, Shuichi, that's horrible. Yeah, I'm a terrible person. Sue me. I don't think I'd like you when you're like this. There's some knocking on the other side of the door. Come on in. Takahiko-san opens the door, walking inside while looking around at the room. His eyes rest on us for a second and he squints. We just finished going over philosophy. We're going to get started on economics next. We were? Oh God, spare me from this. That was weird. Why do all the worst subjects have to be in the same test? Takahiko-san nods, walking towards us. He grabs Shuichi's notes and idly flips through them, quickly reading through the important points before moving next to the next one. The whole thing seems very bizarre to me, but Shuichi merely stares at his father like this is the most natural thing in the world. After a couple minutes of this and no words being said, Takahiko-san places the notebook back down on the desk. The corner of his mouth quirks ever so slightly, barely noticeable. He puts a hand on top of Shuichi's head and idly runs his fingers through it, petting him. That's good. I suppose you're not hopeless after all. Thank you. I'm going to order food. I'll call you boys over when it arrives, and then you can take a break to eat. Sounds good. I appreciate the offer, but I don't know if I should. I'm usually the one who makes dinner at home. Takahiko-san raises an eyebrow, looking at me like I just said something completely absurd. What about your mother? She usually works a lot and over overtime every day, so she's rarely home for dinner, let alone to make it. That's unfortunate. Mother should prioritize taking care of the house and the children before all. The whole thing rubs me the wrong way. I can understand why he'd think like that, but it's such an antiquated belief. But still, I don't really want to ruffle any feathers. Besides, it's not like I could change his mind even if I tried. If anything, I'd just make this whole situation very uncomfortable. Well, she has to make money to support the house somehow. Elder Husky sighs, rubbing the bridge of his snout, his left brow twitching a few times. I suppose that cannot be avoided. You should call your brother and let him know you'll be late. He can make arrangements. I'm sure if it came to it, Aki could take care of himself, and it's just for one night. He could just order food. He has his own allowance. Well, sure he does, but I'm shocked that Shuichi's even going along with this. Usually he'd be the type to tell me to take care of Aki. I mean, yeah, he gets on my case for being overbearing from time to time, but he's not the one to tell me to just leave Aki be. This whole conversation feels really weird. Stay. Studies are more important, and Shuichi is making good progress having you around, so I'd rather you not leave just yet. It's not like I'm here to tutor him, you know. And I couldn't even if I wanted to. I don't remember a lot of this stuff. Order food. You boys carry on. Without another word, almost as if he were leaving no room for debate, Takahiko-san leaves the room. It's not like what he said was really wrong. I know he places a lot of value in studying and insisting. Insisting I stay is his way of looking out for me. But somehow the whole conversation left a bitter taste in my mouth. Sorry about that. Dad can be really strict when it comes to academics, but he means well. I didn't really feel like I had a choice on the matter. Yeah, he kinda has that authoritative tone of voice. I'm surprised you actually went along with him. I thought you tried to talk him out of it and it would say I needed to go home to take care of Aki. Well, Aki is old enough to be able to fix himself dinner. It's not like it's a big deal. It's not about it being a big deal, it's about the principle. I guess. Dad just suggested it because he thought it'd be better for you. And for you as well, it seems. Huh? He said he didn't want me to leave you yet because you were making good progress. Which, to be honest, I don't know how I could possibly be helping you here. Well, it's true that I'm having an easier time grasping material with you around. You are? How? Since I'm having to explain it to you, it forces me to try and articulate my thoughts as best as I can to make it easy to understand. It ends up helping me too, since I understand things better that way. Huh, I didn't think of that. Yeah, so me helping you study is also helping me study. Glad I could be useful for something? Come on, don't say that sort of thing. Here, we should probably get started on the next subject. If we're lucky, we might be able to get at least halfway through before dinner break. I have a feeling I'm going to be stuck here all night. A few hours later. God, my whole body is sore. By the time we were able to run through the entire material to Shuichi's satisfaction, it was already around 11 p.m. Having to sit still in an uncomfortable wooden chair the whole time really makes my back hurt. You really don't have to walk me home, you know. Well, you refused to spend the night, so I thought the least I could do was walk you home. And of course, once I was ready to head home, this happened. I'm not a small child, you know. Nobody said you were. I'm just looking out for you like I would any other friend. Somehow that answer still leaves me dissatisfied. Thanks for coming over today, by the way. Wait, you're thanking me? Shouldn't it be the other way around? You helped me a ton more than I did you. Nah, you're just imagining things. Having you around to bounce ideas off of helps me catch on to the material faster. I've half a mind to steal you away for the rest of the week to keep up studying. You're kidding, right? What? Doesn't sound like a bad idea to me. It would help with both of us tremendously, too. I don't think I could handle an entire week of this. No, please have mercy. Huh? Nothing. I said nothing. As soon as we take a turn on the street, my house becomes visible from the distance. Alright, guys and gals, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Leave a super thanks or a tip if you can. It always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!